is just fantastic. Hello everyone, welcome back to Omegon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today I'd like to use more antiquated arguments that appear to be having a renaissance of late, which is why a few of these videos might feel very retro when we use certain talking points that have seemed to have regurgitated themselves from the bowels of 2015 to 2017, i.e. the Millennial and the Snowflake. If anyone remembers the little animated clip Undoomed used to use for snowflakes, yeah, I'm sure it's now considered a pejorative, but these are the kind of words, millennial and snowflake, that seem to have come back because of, again, people doing stupid things that they just seem to can't help themselves doing. And because they've decided, because they're bitch made, to go down the legal route to get the courts on their side, we get to make a video talking about how pathetic it is. And for today's video, we need to now insert 26-year-old accountant Jay Patel. Jay Patel is going to be the problem of today's video. I know he's not as well known as Salad Fingers, Jack Whitehall, or Batwoman, but please do me a favor, smash the like and leave a comment. I will be replying to everyone. But before we even go into what Jay Patel has done and how it is well and truly lol-worthy, perhaps a definition of what a millennial is. Millennials are generally believed to have been born between 1981 and 1996, which means I'm one of them, because I was born in 1986. Millennials are also known as Generation Y, coming after Generation X and before the latest generation, Generation Z. I assume afterwards we'll get Generation Zog and other defunct letters of the alphabet, or perhaps just go down the Russian route. The term millennial is popular in the media as a reference to people from the generation being brought up ahead of the year 2000. They are thought of as the first truly global generation, being considered the guinea pigs of the internet age, and the first to grow up with computers and mobile phones. Millennials are also thought of as more socially conscious. I'm now reading a definition, so do forgive me if I roll my eyes at any point during this. They are considered more conscious about social and environmental issues, and the drivers of, and I'll say this word as it is written, wokeness. The idea of attempting to, or giving the impression of, making a positive difference in practice, but in reality achieving little or actually doing more harm than good. Older generations, because of that, criticize millennials, which include accusations of work shyness, narcissistic tendencies, prioritizing luxuries. Millennials, however, some claim the huge rise in the cost of property combined with a slowdown of wages has resulted in apathy or an inability to purchase homes, so an excuse. There will always be much conflict between the generations, and those within those generations who don't fundamentally agree with this. Although I will concede some of that does apply to me, no children, and I do prioritize my own luxuries, like whiskey, because whiskey is superior. So back to Jay Patel. In 2020, Jay Patel was employed by insurance firm Lucy A. Raymond & Sons for just over 1 month. Originally, the firm were looking to recruit a fully qualified accountant. However, managing director, Lucy, made an exception when hiring Jay Patel. Why, you ask? Because he was dyslexic, which makes it seem like she took pity on a learning difficulty. But apparently, Lucy considers dyslexia a matter of huge importance because she had relatives with the condition and had in the past set up a charity for dyslexia. After the United Kingdom went into a national lockdown and 2 days into his job, Jay Patel was forced to work from home. Colleagues felt that he wasn't really doing that well, his capability to perform his role not quite up to par quite early in. In December of 2020, just a month into his job, Lucy decided to dismiss Jay Patel because she had taken the wrong decision in giving a dyslexic person the job. When Jay asked for feedback at a dismissal meeting, he was told by Lucy that he was too demanding in common with his generation of millennials. Jay Patel claimed against Lucy A. Raymond & Sons on the grounds of both age and disability discrimination. I was a little surprised upon doing a little digging that to be fired because dyslexic is a form of discrimination, and dyslexia as a learning difficulty can be considered a disability as well. Of course it is. So it is in fact, and I take that other bit back, can be used in a court or a tribunal or wherever this went as a means of getting some kind of validation and maybe compensation. The employment tribunal where this then went upheld Jay Patel's discrimination claim on the grounds of disability, with the tribunal finding that when Jay Patel was hired, the firm took no steps to inquire how Jay Patel's dyslexia affected him as an individual, and what specific requirements he might have, and what they could do to address any of his needs. To prove that, the judge referred to Mrs. Raymond Williams' evidence that she had taken the wrong decision in offering the job to a person with dyslexia in the first place. The tribunal then inferred that Jay Patel was not up to the job because of his disability, which Mrs. Raymond Williams was very aware of before hiring Jay Patel. On Jay Patel's age discrimination claim, though, Judge Heath identified that while Mrs. Raymond Williams' comment related to Patel's age, the reason that Jay Patel felt distressed by it was not because of his age, but in fact because of the suggestion that he had been given everything on a plate. The only articles I found covering this came from the Daily Mail, and I love that they lead with, "City Accountant 26 loses his age discrimination case," but they do have to point out that he won the disability case and will receive compensation, and that, by the way, for those who don't know, will be decided at a later date. There was another article that tied into this, but it was also by the Daily Mail, where Gary Ashworth, a recruitment boss of 40 years, said that millennials loathe conflict, while also conceding that they excel in the workplace due to their kind personality traits. But then to swing back, also saying that millennials have an inflated sense of entitlement, loathe conflict, and require a different kind of management than older generations. He believes that employers should do more to teach younger workers about the benefits of conflict in the workplace. And he has a point. There is a point there. Many of those who fall within the bracket of millennial do not like conflict in the slightest. Go out of their way to get involved with it, in fact. I don't know about entitlement, but I do think I've earned your like. But it is certainly up and open for debate. There was one last point there that Gary Ashworth makes that I'm going to mention now. While some believe that Generation Y is not lazy and that they can weed out the toxic, outdated corporate culture, Gary Ashworth believes, and I think many of us can agree, millennials need to learn how to better respond to criticism in the workplace. Some do use it as a reason to just immediately shut down or instantly revolt. Many believe that criticism is hateful, and of course the argument of what is or is not hateful, is or is not criticism, is or is not banter, is or is not funny, is entirely subjective, which can be quite frustrating, really, can't it?